Hi, you have reached Graphically Alex, where we talk about all things EFA by the letter D with a focus on BINGE specifically. But today we're going to look at some dietitians and we're going to get into the details of it. I have to say that this podcast is probably going to be like my own personal hell, essentially. But we've been covering a lot of zombies on the channel, which I call somebody within EFA by letter D or EFA by letter D adjacent a zombie if they are either complicit in it, unaware, or hostile, right? So basically, we'll get into the details of it with this podcast, but we are going to be reacting to Find Food Freedom, and she has Abbey Roberts on there. So I thought it might be kind of funny for us to see Abbey Roberts more long form content wise, because she has like the most horrific reels and stuff on Instagram. So I always am interested to see like how they are when they talk a long time. And I think it's also interesting to see a couple of zombies working together. So I'll get into the details of it soon enough. But let's just get started.
Welcome back to another episode of the Find Food Freedom podcast. Today we have the Abbey Roberts, the founder of Fork Diet Culture, on the podcast today. And I'm freaking excited because Abbey and we have been virtual friends for a very long time. We voice memo each other. We text each other, but we finally got to sit down and chat and basically just clicked record so you could listen. I'm going to read some of Abby's bio from her website because I think it's so Abbey. She's just such a breath of fresh air. She has an entire dietitian team. First, let's talk about what Fork Diet Culture is. That is the name of her Instagram account, Fork Diet Culture, but they are telehealth registered dietitians helping you.
So I need you guys to know, oh my God, I forgot her name. I'm the worst. Sam. Sam, it says here, Sam and Abbey talk about their journeys. Okay. Sam is a level 1 zombie. So Sam is somebody who was only ever subclinical. She never was fully in EFA by letter D. She falls under the enabler / subclinical. She had an alcohol issue, which I actually did do a reaction to how she devolved into like fat acceptance rhetoric and the whole like haze thing and all that stuff. It was kind of a boring story, but also a harrowing tale at the same time, which it tends to be that way a lot when it comes to, you know, the TR, the toxic ritualistic. Okay, I'm going to have to call it that for the sake of YouTube. Sorry if it's annoying, but it is what it is. I don't make the rules. I just live in this. I live in this hellscape, basically. As an activist. So I call it the toxic ritualistic because it is something that you do ritualistically. So it's a repetitive thing, and it's like a belief system combined with repeated action, like a ritual. And it's toxic. It's not something passive like lighting incense or a candle. This is awful for you, right? So anyways, when it comes to the TR in general, things tend to be boring and dark at the same time, which is a very weird thing, but that is what it is. So that whole thing where she told the story of how she devolved into haze and all that, that was pretty scary, but also boring. So if you want to check that out, I did do a reaction to that. I should probably link it. But yeah, it seems like the zombies are linking up. We just saw Robin get attacked by one. So they're trying to like mobilize forces, I guess. But, you know, us fireflies stick together too. So
You give food anxiety, fad diets, and comparison culture the middle finger. When we look at...
So for Last of Us Zombie labels, she's a runner. Abbey, which she'll come up soon, she's a stalker. She's a level 2. She has a problem. It's just more mild.
Who Abbey is. This is a perfect description of her on her website. I'm going to read it. Obviously, I am not Abby, but I'm reading it as if I am her. Hi, I'm Abby Roberts, and I put the granola bars on top of my office door so they hit me in the face and remind me to eat. If it works, is my motto. And as someone with late diagnosed ADHD, believe me when I say that I'm here to help you find an approach of eating that works for you and your specific brain. I'm the founder of Fork Diet Culture, the aggressively proud cat parent of Griff and Ralph, who both made an appearance on the pod today, and the official face of Fork Diet Culture socials, where you can find me fighting for my life and yours in a sea of shitty wellness advice. Because no, you should not drink raw milk unless you love food poisoning, and seed oils are not going to kill you. I'm endlessly proud of this team of eating disorder dietitians and the work that we get to do dismantling diet culture with our clients, and of you for being here. That just, first of all, Abby, speaking to you directly, love your bio. I think it perfectly sums up who you are. If you do not already follow Abby on social media, please do. Go over to fork.diet.culture, Fork Diet Culture with periods in between, to follow Abby and all of the amazing things that she puts out online. But today we get to talk shop. We get to talk about some of the tough things that we deal with online and kind of how we handle it and the nuances and just all of the stuff. So I'm going to stop talking because I want you to just hear our episode today. So thank you for being.
So I want to talk about why I'm covering this. So part of it is obviously there is a curiosity. I'm also interested in seeing zombies link up. I think it's an interesting thing to see. But it's also to let you guys know, activistically, these two are dietitians. These are two people that people would go to for help. So let that be known. Let this activist let you know this is what's going on. Okay?
Here, and without further ado, let's get into it with Abby Roberts. All right, Abby. I'm so excited that you're here. I feel like we got a lot to talk about. Oh, and a cat has entered the film as well. What is your cat's name?
That's Griff. Griff will be doing that a lot, and then Ralph is currently on my other desk right here, but usually he'll pop in front of the camera and just stare at you, and then he'll just plop right in front of my laptop and then just like sleep. So you might get both the cats today.
I love it. I love it. All animals are welcome. I actually did lock my Frenchie out of my office. Poor guy was like crying at the door, but he farts a lot and it's like super audible. And I'm like, people are going to think I'm ripping ass on the podcast. Like, I can't just have you in here. So for recordings, he sees his way out.
I forget that you have a Frenchie. I love I love bulldogs. They're so funny.
I could see you as a Frenchie person, and it's so funny. People have like asked me like, "Is your dog okay?" Because like since having kids, like I just feel like my head is
okay. So I have to say this because I'm a nerd, but obviously you guys know I have been, very interested in a British She Boy. And so because of that, I've had like these hyper awarenesses of like Americanness. And this conversation already, it's making me think about how like there's this meme of like when a European girl hears two American girls talk, they sound like that meme. Where it's like, hi, oh my God, hi, oh my gosh, and the butterflies, yes, and the sun and the weather, oh my gosh, yes, oh my God. Have you guys ever seen that meme? That's literally what they sound like. So I don't know, that's just me being self-conscious, but it's fine. I am Miss Americana myself, so it's fine. But I just... Oh, man. Just remember, you guys, this shit thrives in the U.S. It really does.
It's always on backwards these days, but I feel like I don't like post anything about him. And I'm like, no, he is here. He is healthy. We're just barely surviving. And that's why you're not seeing him on our feed. Okay, well, Abby, I want to hear a little bit before we get into today's topic. I do want to talk to you about like your kind of origin story as a dietitian, because I feel like I feel like I'm an elder. I'm not. The elder generations of dietitians, a lot of us have similar stories of like, we were brought up in traditional dietetics and like
Yeah.
taught to like restrict people and all this stuff. And then we kind of like, if we're a lucky one, we kind of get out of that world and find another way, if you will. So I want to hear like, do you relate to that, or have you always been in this anti-diet work? So I want to hear your story.
Yeah. I wish I was always in this space. That'd be great. No, my schooling was still very restrictive and full of anti-fat bias. And I don't know, like, I feel like we talked about the social determinants of health, but not really to the extent where like it's helpful. It's more of like, this is an acknowledgement, but we're not going to go too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
we obviously talked about in like our community nutrition classes,
So we see a lot of virtue signaling right out the gate. Remember, she has a problem, so she's in it. It's just mild. The other one is not in it, so she's more of she's the ass kisser of this dynamic. She's more like Abby is more aggressive and outright competitive and like all these things. But obviously she's getting her ass kissed right now, so she's fine. But she's already starting in and getting into the zombie talk real quick. Whereas Sam often, because she's not in the issue, she will talk about like career and dogs and just very normal stuff. Like she talked about like her college experience and her story, which again, it was kind of boring for people. I'm sorry. I know I have a lot of introverts in my audience, and sometimes you guys get annoyed with like when extroverts just talk about stuff all the time, which I feel like she was kind of like that. She was kind of a little bit verbal diarrhea because she was just talking about how she partied a lot and stuff, which to me it was kind of refreshing because it was like actually human. Like it sounded like normal. But you can see Abby, she's like, boom, we're going to zombie talk right now. Like, we got this. Anti-fat bias, blah, blah. She's starting the buzzwords. She's starting it. We're just getting into it. So you can see the determined look. She's determined to be a zombie. She's right there.
you know, SNAP and WIC and Meals on Wheels, but it's almost kind of like, you know, they're there, but you don't really know the why behind it. And yeah, so
So I think Abby, if I'm correct, I could be wrong, but I don't know. Either this is a false memory or I'm like picking up on something. But I believe she had a reductive issue and she has now recovered. But she has recovered in the sense that world events make her spiral about her body. Which basically means she hasn't recovered. That's insane. So that is not normal at all. The two are not connected whatsoever. And it has to do with anxiety and trying to find something that you can control and trying to use body distress as a form of grounding for anxiety. That's basically a large part of the toxic ritualistic, which is why I'm like, yes, she's in it. Especially since she has a past, she still has the mindset and everything. So she goes into her dietitian work with a complete bias. So already she's like, the social determinants of health, they talked about it in my program, but basically they didn't talk about it in a way where it took all accountability from the fat person. So that wasn't good enough for her. Basically, that's what she's saying.
yes, I definitely fully resonate with that part of the schooling. And then definitely for myself, I was very entrenched in diet culture. I think I very much followed the pipeline that so many eating disorders dietitians follow of I struggled with my own eating disorders and then slowly but surely found my way to this space and went, oh my goodness, like my eyes are open to all of these other possibilities and like life could
See,
be
oops.
so much more fun. And
See, so she admits that she's had a problem. So see, I'm not just like, people are always like, or I don't know if people are like that, but I think sometimes people are like, oh, Alex is assuming, oh, Alex is. I'm usually not. They just say it. She just admitted it. So she was in it. And I'm just saying I can see the thought patterns and I can recognize how she is and I can say, yeah, she's still in it for sure. But she's in that false recovery arc, which that happens a lot. There are a lot of, reductive types that believe they have recovered and maybe she has weight normalized, but a lot of that psychological stuff is still there. For example, her partner is bigger than her, and I think that she would need that to be the case. Like, there's certain cracks there that I can see really easily, having had the issue deep. But it's more subtle because she's mild. So she's not dying of it. She doesn't have complete brain fry, but she has a little bit of brain fry. Because I wonder if I speculate if some of her ADHD is actually anhedonia from the problem. So, and again, maybe it's just a complicating factor. I don't know, but she is very irritating. And I think more irritating than a normal person with ADHD. I'm just going to say it. So I'm like, I think it's at least made worse or something. But she's cool right now. She's okay right now. But if you've ever seen her reels, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot.
So many more other things that I can be focusing on. So in college, my eating disorder started in high school. I don't think it really like escalated until college. Definitely started from a place of quote unquote, very hard quotes around this, like my body didn't look like an athlete's in my head and whatever the heck that means per diet culture. And so that really is what got me into like my body needs to look a certain way. I need to eat a certain way. I need to move a certain way. Even though I was competing in pretty high level sports within basketball and track and field. And then I think I really had like a huge identity crisis when I went to college and I didn't make the track team. And I was like, but I was so good. Like, what do you mean? And so I found my way into being a personal trainer and thought that was going to kind of fill that void of like being the quote unquote athlete friend. I was like, well, maybe it could be the fit friend. And then that spiraled into doing bodybuilding for like 2.5 years. I followed a lot of like bodybuilder influencers on social media at that time. And I think throughout my schooling in nutritional science dietetics, it was very much a like, oh, this is going to teach me how to eat super healthy, and then I'll be super healthy, and then my body will look a certain way, and then that'll be great. And that's not what happened. I think I just learned more about the science, and I started questioning more things, and I started realizing that, oh, it really sucks to be living this way of, in the bodybuilding world. And so I got out of that, and that opened my eyes to like, oh, I actually felt like shit the entire time. I didn't feel healthy. I was actually falling asleep in classes and like during tests. And it wasn't until grad school that I learned actually more about intuitive eating, health at every size, even anti-fat bias. And so I started uprooting all of that for myself, and learning more just in general. Like I read Sabrina Strings' book, Fearing
False recovery. False recovery.
the Black Body. I think that was like a pull for me. And then really got me into similar books, reading more about the history, reading the intuitive eating book.
If she was triggered, if something happened, she would go full on into it again. I wouldn't even say it's dormant necessarily because of like, there's so much bullshit swirling around in her head. So I hope you guys can see what it looks like when it's subtle or when it's mild. Because I always try to show you guys the full spectrum because I want you to know it's not like that. It's not always like the back rooms with Brie. Brie is so crazy. She is so far gone. This is a more typical way that it shows. But I don't believe that she has binge. I think she's more on the reductive side, maybe more so talking to Mia or something like that. It's different for sure. especially if she was in bodybuilding and all that kind of stuff. Like there's something going on for sure. I don't know if she's like totally in the act of, she's doing the stuff, but I just know that the framework and the anxiety piece, the mindset, that has all stayed exactly the same. Like she's totally in it still, and she's very competitive, and you can tell. So, which again, I'm not saying like people can't be competitive, but it's just she's the most pro fat. It's one of those, it's an overcompensation that tends to happen within false reductive recovery, basically.
I got my own diagnosis for ADHD. That unlocked a lot for me of like why I eat a certain way, think a certain way, feel a certain way. And that's what brought me into this space of, working with neurodivergent folks primarily and working on eating disorder recovery or stepping out of diet culture. And just kind of continuing to recognize different biases that I might still hold today, unlearning those. Oh, there goes my light. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to say except that I'm just so grateful to be in this space today. And honestly, I'm thankful, even though my past was really hard in the diet culture space, I'm grateful for it because I think it helps me bring a certain level of compassion and empathy to my one-on-one sessions with clients. And I think that's honestly really needed in this space.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that and totally agree with you. I always look back at my own journey, which sounds a lot like yours in different ways, and I like cringe, but I'm like, no, 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 cringe is growth, and that allows us to have.
Sorry. Gosh, Auntie is messing up today. I need to use K. So her backstory, I don't know if she's going to get into it, but I'm just going to quickly say it. She was dealing a lot with alcohol. And there were some aspects that were TR adjacent. She never was quite fully in it, but she's very much like a people pleaser. She's very much a people pleasing type. That tends to happen a lot with level 1 zombie. So it's like she's not, in my opinion, she's not overtly competitive. She never had the full ritual going. She never was fully in it. But she's very, very people pleasing. And so she wants to like really be supportive. And she's very enabling.
Of that personal, like lived experience in it as well. So if I'm hearing you correctly, then what was your first job out of dietetic school and grad school, your private practice, Fork Diet Culture, or where were your jobs along this journey?
Yeah, so I got my RD right at the end of like 2020, going into 2021.
Such a
So
strange time in the world.
yeah, it was really hard to find a job, and I had just come out of my clinical portion of my internship, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to,
Hmm.
so I ended up getting a job at that same hospital, and I
Awesome.
think I only lasted a year and a half,
Okay.
maybe. Um, and so I was working primarily, I was kind of floating on the different floors, but my favorite ones were either of our ICUs. We had like the medical ICU and the surgical ICU, just because that was like where you're doing your tube feeding, your TPNs.
Hmm.
And then I loved like our gastro floor, just because again, that was all the nutrition support. But then out of that, I started doing, while I was still working at the hospital, I really was on this track of like, I'm going to be a sports dietitian. And so throughout my internship, I went to Washington State University. So during the summers, I would do work with like the football team. In undergrad, I worked with the football team and some like the Olympic sports. But in that time, like that was a lot of just like making smoothies and like preparing snacks. And
It's a
I was
lot of what am I trying to say? Food service. My brain's not working fully right now. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
food service. sports
Yeah.
nutrition. People don't realize that, I think.
No, they really don't. And then I started doing some like volunteer type position to just like get some hours and learn more about it while I was in my clinical job, and I was working with University of Washington. And that was kind of wherever they needed me, whether I was creating like things on Canva for them, I was helping create like, their meal plans and stuff for when a team was on the road and what they were going to have and where they were going to get food and whatever, do catering stuff and orders. Um, and I just kind of I burnt out from that pretty quickly. I really liked the dietitians that I was working with. Like the team was really cool, but it wasn't for me. I thought it was going to be really different. And throughout it too, I was just seeing and overhearing conversations from the athletes that were very disordered, or even like outright just eating disorders. And that really started to click something else in my head too of like, oh, this is a pretty universal experience. This wasn't just me. I think I get stuck a lot of like, I'm the exception.
So this happens a lot too. People that have the issue, they assume everybody else does. And it's actually quite rare. So it's not that it doesn't exist, it's just not everybody has it at all. Even when I tell you guys, when we talk about the zombie horde, your most populous zombie will be a level 1. So somebody that's not actually in the issue. If you're dealing with somebody that is in a comment section that's a fat activist, or at least they're fat sympathizer, I don't know what you want to call it. I'll call it TR sympathizer, basically. The type of person that will hold somebody, they will never let somebody talking to Anna take accountability. They'll never let an obese person take accountability, that kind of person. They are probably a level 1 runner. They're probably a runner. They are the most common type. So most people don't have the issue. And even of those that do have the issue, the majority of those that do are mild. And then it's even rare to be severe. So it's like, you have to consider that. It's not like everybody has it. That's not true at all. So she's already, again, projecting that everybody has an issue. This is a universal thing. It is not universal at all. This is not universal. It's not normal. Half the time I'm talking about this shit on my channel, I'm telling you guys how you're thinking is not normal. If you think this is abnormal. If you think this, most people probably have never thought of it that way, and they probably would be like, what the hell, if they actually heard that. And I don't mean that to, shame you as a person. I mean it to show you that the way you're thinking is DIS ordered. It's not reality. It's not real life. And most people, if they knew how you were thinking, would disagree with you. And that's a huge part of deprogramming it, is understanding that it is abnormal because it's so relevant for you and you're so obsessed with it, you feel like everybody has to be. And it's like, no, they're not. And that can be a tough pill to swallow, but it is very real. And she's still there, you see. I'm going to just keep pointing out every little thing she does.
Which I hear a lot from my clients. I hear a lot within neurodivergence.
Yep.
So I wish at the time I knew that I had ADHD. I did not. So yeah, from there, then I started working within eating disorders. And then after.
Her ADHD might be a TR drive for her too. It might be something that frustrates her. And so it could be feeding into it. I do feel like I don't know if it's super common, but I do feel like there is at least a tiny bit of a correlation, or there's something of a connection to like mild TR and ADHD. It's something that comes up a lot. But again, it's like, or is it that the TR makes it worse? I know like the state of obesity makes it worse. So obesity is a complicating factor of ADHD. But I'm sure if she is having any anhedonic feelings from the TR, it would also be made worse. So it's like, it's something to consider, or something that I'm noticing personally. It's similar to how I notice within BINGE specifically. So many people that are so severe have an avoidant attachment style. So it's not that it causes it, but it's like there's a bit of an interaction. And then we all know there is an interaction between the TR and alcohol. Absolutely. So that's very common. They very common go hand in hand, or they're similar. They're even like physically similar in terms of hormone shifts and stuff. It's similar. So yeah, definitely a connection there. Absolutely. But I'm trying to, I guess from my perspective, I'm researching and trying to see certain comorbidities that I notice often. And those are some of the ones that I've seen.
After like another like 2 years into year and a half, I don't know. What is time? I've been in my private practice now for 3 years.
Awesome. I was going to say, like, during your job at the hospital or during your job working with the sports teams, like, were you starting to talk on social media, like, not actually see clients? Like, when did Fork Diet Culture page, like, when was it established and when did you start running it?
I used to be really talkative on the internet. Like I used to be the people that I talk about now of like, hey, that's fucked up. My content started as like bodybuilding fitness content.
Girl, I get it. I was doing weight loss content, so
Yeah, and
I wish I could see it, but they scrubbed it.
I would post like crazy ass workouts on there that I wasn't actually doing, but they look sick. So I was like, this on the internet. But I struggle today with.
She would never lie again. There's no way she would lie now.
Horrible back pain because of the way that I was working out then. Even though I was a personal trainer and I knew proper form and I knew all, I was still just doing crazy shit for the internet. And like ego lifting and stuff. And so I reap those benefits today. But I think my content really switched in 2020.
Yeah.
Where that was a little bit more of like, ooh, I'm not really contributing what I'd like to contribute to the world right now and on the internet. So that started shifting then, but I don't think I really started gaining any traction or like really knew what my voice was until probably 2022.
Yeah.
2023. I don't know. Like everything is a blur, honestly.
Yeah, and especially with the internet, like what is time? What is, who knows? But it's so cool to hear your story because I only know you.
Well, I know because I'm crazy, but I know, especially with this activism, I know exactly what I was doing. Like you could be like, where were you May 2024? I'd be like, I was in my tortured era. I was having a crisis. I was having my "but daddy, I love him" moment where I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I'm decisive. I'm doing this. I'm really going to do it. And I was getting towards the end of my plateau. I had a horrific plateau in the tortured era. I think a lot of people have a really bad plateau when they're morbidly obese. So, yeah, I'm just saying. I pay attention. I know where I was. I know what I was doing. So, not me.
As like Fork Diet Culture, like the Abbey that you are today. Obviously, we're always growing and changing and evolving, but like you and I have so many parallels to our story, and I had no idea. And I think, and a lot of people say the same thing to me when they find me. They're like, "Wait, you used to do like diet culture content?" Like I had no idea. And it like honestly I just figured because you're younger than me, I'm like, oh, this girl just like always understood like anti-diet and like anti-fat bias and all this stuff. So I think it's really amazing though that you share this kind of, your transition, if you will, or your like transformation from like being immersed in diet culture and like then who you are today, because I know that there are, especially if we're talking in our niche of dietitians, like in our career, there are and I'm sure you get this all the time. I get so many DMs of like, how did you do this? Or like, how do I do this? Because they feel like they're getting paid to help people lose weight. So if they don't do that anymore, like, how will they have a job or a purpose as a dietitian? And I know.
See how she's thinking more about the money. She's thinking more about like more human things, like more normal things. So I'm trying to show you guys the difference. I think this is kind of interesting to show you. Whereas Abbey like doesn't. It's like I'm interested to see what she's gonna say to that. She might take it right back to the issue, but we'll see.
You know, I felt that way. So I think it's really important to share our stories. And I had no idea that you were so similar to me.
When I was getting into my private practice, I got sucked into this like one business coaching program that was for dietitians.
It's so funny how you say that, because I'm like, don't we all get sucked into these business coaching?
They're really good for marketing. And I was the only one in there that was like, I'm gonna do intuitive eating/eating disorders. And I was told so frequently in this course that like, you're not going to make any money in that. You're not going to be able to have a private practice. No one's going to want to work with you. That's not sustainable. That's not a niche. Like just so many things where I was like, what the hell? Like, I was like, honestly, y'all are kind of enforcing this idea that I do need to do this.
Yeah, like you're making it more clear that I need to do this. I've been told the same things, and even by like mentors in my.
There's a lot of money in it, actually. There's a lot of zombie horde money. But I will say, again, you can see how Abbey didn't even care about that at all. So I think that's just interesting. It's like, no, it's more about the issue. You know what I'm saying? It's subtle. It's a subtle difference, but it's there. And I'm trying to show you.
Space that I looked up to for a really long time. And I feel like it kept me stuck longer because I was like, well, if they're telling me I shouldn't do this, then like I shouldn't, because they're successful.
Yeah.
So here's two anti-diet dietitians telling you listeners that you can do it and you should do it, and it's scary and it's messy and it's hard and challenging, and it's so fucking worth it.
Oh yeah. I tell my clients today too, and even on the internet, that like it's not perfect. Like it's not like you reach this place of intuitive eating and recognizing health at every size and body neutrality and whatever, and you're just like, yay, I'm fixed, quote unquote. Like, because you don't need fixing, and the world is messy as hell. Humans are not perfect, and so like I have times where I have bad body image days. I have times where I'm like,
we know, I know.
Oh, I eat past a comfortable level of fullness. I have times where I'm like, oh, I ate that food and I didn't really actually want that or enjoy that.
Oh, so maybe she is shifting a bit. Interesting. Well, you guys can let me know if you think talking to Mia. Because I'm like, there is bingo in Mia. B-I-N-G, bingo.
But I think it's different for me now because I don't beat myself up over it anymore. I don't tell myself that like, oh my God, I'm a fraud, or like, oh, I messed up my way of eating and this is gonna wreck my day and my week and this is my worth. And like, I'm not putting all this stuff into it anymore. I'm just recognizing that like, bodies are going to change. How we look and feel about them is going to change, especially based on situations, sensations, thoughts, memories, feelings, whatever. And then even like the way that I'm eating too is good.
See, you can see the anxiety around it, right? Can you pick up on it? It's subtle. I'm telling you guys, it is more subtle. So you gotta like use a magnifying glass because she's mild. But it's there. It's like she just said, the world is messy. I have bad body image days. I feel like this about this and da-da-da-da. I wonder how often she does feel that way. I wonder how often it happens, or how much she's thinking about this. I think it's probably more than your average person. Much more.
Going to be impacted by like, if I'm out socializing, if I'm eating for comfort, out of emotion, just I want something nutritious. Like, there's food fits in our life for so many different reasons. But I think when we're stripping this idea.
So let me tell you guys a non-DIS ordered approach, okay? This is the normal approach. So normal approach is, I want to eat more, so I'm just going to do it. And then you do, and then you're like, yeah, that was a lot. And then that's it. Normal approach is, I'm full, I don't want to. I'm good. I'm done. That's normal approach. No thoughts other than that, basically. Normal approach is, I don't really have a body image day because I don't care that much. So it's like, it's not a good day, it's not a bad day. You just kind of are like, I look good today or I look chopped, period. So it could just be like, my outfit is a mess, my hair looks disgusting, and then maybe I look pudgy on top of it, or I look decent in general, I'm dressing well, blah, blah, right? It's more like just, do I look good or not? It's not like, this is a bad body image day, this is a good body image day. You don't really like give a fuck about it that much. I mean, you do, but it's just a part of your general appearance. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't to a TR person, but there's no emotional weight in it. It's just like, it's like a tiny bit. It's like a, oh gosh, or a, okay, rather than a, oh my God, or like a, oh yes, I look amazing, oh my gosh. It's not like that. You see the intensity? There's no intensity, because I've told you guys many times, and I will continue to say it, you didn't change that fucking much from yesterday. So if you feel this intense emotional experience looking in the mirror, it is not real. One of you guys liked the term. It's an astroturfed emotion, basically. I do like it too. Thank you. I appreciate you. But it's an astroturfed emotion. It's not real. So it shouldn't be so like, oh my gosh, because you looked the same yesterday and you looked the same the day before that. It's like, sometimes you gotta tell your brain to shut the fuck up, basically, and just be like, this is done. I'm spiraling. And that's a non-DIS ordered way of looking at it. So those are like human experiences. That's a human way of thinking about it. And that's what you want. That's where you want to get. That's the goal. The goal is to become human again, right? So if you're struggling with that, just understand, like, okay, you still got further to go, because there shouldn't be this emotional weight. There shouldn't be any anxiety over it either. There could maybe be a bit of frustration. Like if I were to overdo it, I might be frustrated. I'd be like, oh gosh, because I'm on a vanity journey. So I'm like, I have goals, but oh wow, whatever. Or I'm just disciplined, so I'm just going to stick to it because I already made a decision. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm in a vanity journey. I made a decision. I'm going to stick to it because there's no like noise or anxiety over it. So it doesn't fucking matter that much. So I just stick to what I stick to. Or I go off of it and it's like, oh my gosh, I sucked today, or like I messed up or something like that. But whatever, who cares? You see? I'll just continue on tomorrow. It's that kind of thing. So and I'm sure like people will be like, you can't say you suck and you can't say, but you kind of can. Like if you're normal, you can kind of say things like that because it doesn't have this weight to it, because it doesn't matter that much. Especially in vanity, it really doesn't matter that much. And I think that's like, I'm trying to explain it. I hope I'm explaining it well. But it's kind of like that. It's like you made a choice. You made a decision. Like you have accountability. You understand that you did what you did. You don't lie about it. You don't feel a need to cope about it. You don't feel a need to do anything. It just is what it is. You get into an it is what it is territory. And I think that's where you want to be. because then there's no speculation, there's no anxiety, there's no spiraling, because you already know what happened. It's not a mystery. You know? It's like I had a couple of my mom's oatmeal cookies yesterday. I don't know that they were the exact amount of calories that I tracked, but do I give a fuck? No, I don't. You see? I'm trying to explain it.
Idea that our worth is inherently tied to our body and our way of eating. It's just
TR.
like there's such a weight off of your chest. And I say that too with full knowledge of like that doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for me. I
Totally.
know it didn't happen overnight for you. And you know, working with clients for years as well. It's like it happens slowly, but it's also like a weird, you look back and you're like, wait, oh my God. When was the last time I thought of food in that way? Like it feels crazy.
Yes. Thank you for sharing all of that. Well, thank you again for your origin story and hearing all of that. It's so helpful for me to hear and to learn more about you. And, you know, I think today we really wanted to give people like a little bit peek behind the curtain of, you know, you and I have been voice memoing for months and months and months now, back and forth. And I feel like so many of the times we voice memo is when there's like, sometimes it's a troll, sometimes it's a medical professional, sometimes it's both, who knows, but there are people that love to stitch our videos or talk about us. And I like how the one, I'm not even going to say his name, honestly I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but like you were the one who did the response video, and I think I messaged you, I was like, thank you so much, I didn't have time to respond to this and I wouldn't have said anything differently, so thank you. Anyways, but so what I want to get into today, and I think this is actually really, this is really conducive to both of our stories as well, is when we're approaching the anti-diet, what do you call it, mindset, paradigm. I mean, there's so much, the umbrella of it all.
E followed by letter D, enabling.
I think it's really easy for people, not easy, that's not the right word, but I think the first step that kind of comes is, yeah, like fuck diets, fuck food rules. Like there is this freedom of eating, like being allowed to eat things. And then we kind of notice like, oh, okay, well, as we enter this space, like bodies become a part of the conversation. And when we look at the weight inclusive lens that we serve and we, you know, we really believe in, it's this idea that like all bodies deserve respect. Wow, how radical, right? That in 2026 that's a radical idea. And I find that on the internet, especially now with the Ozempic era that we're in, people will still be like, yeah, like screw dieting, like I don't believe in food rules. But then as soon as like all bodies deserve respect and body diversity enters the conversation, it's like, oh, but not fat people, right? And this idea of fat bias. So I want to just open the floor to you of like places you've been thinking of since we've been voice.
So remember that all TR zombies want to normalize obesity. So whether it's coming from the reductive side and you want to be higher up on the body hierarchy type of thing, or whether it's somebody within BINGE, they want to be much bigger, so therefore much lower on the body hierarchy. There is still an obsession with body hierarchy that the basic population being class 1 obese really, really reinforces. And so they love it. And so they want it to be a thing. Now, within a level 1 zombie like Sam, I don't even think she's aware of this goal. I think she's just completely complicit and enabling. She just wants to please the higher zombies. That's basically it. She wants to please Abbey in this conversation. There's nothing more than that. She's a case. She's just very people pleasing. That's all it is with her.
It's memoing, but like, there's so much we could talk about. I'm like just rambling here, but like I'm gonna hand the mic over to you, and I just want to hear kind of how you maybe have navigated through that in your side of things on the internet, in your corner of the internet with your clients. And what you're seeing now too, again, just in this weight loss medication era that we are in.
I mean, I think you're just handing the mic over to me so I can ramble because I.
Perfect.
Where's
We can
my
just ramble
brain
back and forth. Come at me while I pop my energy drink open. A little ASMR for this episode.
Okay, you guys. So I think what I'm going to do, Auntie has a concert tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into 2 episodes. So we're going to go into their Ozempic thing tomorrow. So I'm going to just cut this off and film the rest of it tonight, and then it will be up tomorrow. This will be more about Abby's origin story. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And I'm going to have fun at my concert. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. Bye.